Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Now guys, this is part 2 of the story where I tell you how lawyers and other top elitists in our society actually pushes the crime agenda and causes criminality to be where it is and causing it to be remaining as one of the main stumbling block to development of the Jamaican society. Now, in this instance, I'm going to call 2 names. Hughes of Nationwide News Network and Emily Crooks, who was a presenter on that show some years ago. Now, this story goes back a little way. It goes back to March of 2013. In March of 2013, there was a gentleman, a policeman, Detective Sergeant Lloyd Kelly, who was acquitted in the court in Kingston because he was on a murder charge for having shot a man to death. And he was charged for murder and he was acquitted. After he was acquitted, the nationwide station went into a frenzy. They went into a tizzy over the course of several days. Why did they do that? Because they thought that this policeman should have gone to prison and be punished for the crime of murder. So let me give you a little background to this particular story, to this incident that led up to the policeman being arrested and charged. He was charged for killing a man called Ian Lloyd. But this man, Ian Lloyd, was more popularly known as Chensing. No, Chensing was a strange character, a malevolent person. Chensing had been charged and several times for attempted rape, malicious destruction of property, abduction, and a whole breaking and entering. A whole swath of charges had been against Chensing over several years. As a matter of fact, he has been charged with wounding. He has gone to jail. He has draped up police. He has injured policemen. He goes into jail, and in prison he caused trouble in there also. This is an all-around malevolent individual. On the day that police came to look for him, he had tried to abduct a 13-year-old girl, pulled her into bushes, and the entire village had to be chasing him down to take the girl from him. And then he started stoning cars. Well, some people say he was mentally disturbed. Some say no, that's just who he is, because sometimes he's very calm and speak quite nicely. But whatever the case, when the police came, he started injuring other people. He used a lasso, and the police eventually got the lasso away from him. He injured 2 individuals, and he smashed police windscreen. So when the police, he was fighting police, and they got him on the ground, one of the police took out his gun, that's the Sergeant Lloyd Kelly, and shot him while he was lying on the ground, trying to get up to come back to attack the police. Unfortunately, somebody saw use a camera or some other recording device, and they did a video recording of the incident. The incident was on television, and we saw clearly where the policeman stood over him. He was on the ground trying to get up back. We saw where he jumped at the police jumped back. Somehow he was wrestled to the ground, and when you're trying to rise up back to attack the police again, one of the policemen shot him while he was on the ground. He shot him in his belly and he died in hospital. Now, because the video went out viral, the video actually went viral, the police decided to lay charges against Sergeant Lloyd Kelly based on the video itself. However, no witnesses came forward because the entire neighborhood wanted to get rid of Chensing. Paula Llewellyn, more time I cuss you, but this is one case where I have to big you up. Because me know, so that if you wanted to get that pathologist on record and on to come and give evidence by a video link, you could have done so. But you don't have no time to waste. And you are glad that at least the people in St. Anne's and surrounding environment could at least live in peace. And you, sir, you're a practical woman. You're smart enough. And you know that the policeman is a hero and deserve to not have this thing dragged out any further. So you failed to call the pathologist overseas. And they say to you, Paula Llewellyn, big up your BC self on this one. You see, Flip Hughes and Emily Crooks would have preferred that this man continue to terrorize and haunt and continue to murder and rape and kill and pillage and plunder the people of that community, because the life that really matters is not the 20,000 people that live in that area. Is the one life of a krazmite that really matters to them. And that's why that bond them so much. You see how these people think? Why they were against Paula Llewellyn so much is because she was on TV and I mean she seemed to be upbeat about how the case turned out. I don't remember what Paula Llewellyn had said. But based on that, they think Paula Llewellyn messed up because they say she should have called the pathologist from overseas to even though I put him on a video link and let him testify as to how Chensing had died. Because at that time, the pathologist involved in that case, who had actually done the autopsy on Chensing's body, he was now overseas on a different assignment and was no longer connected to Jamaica. But that did not happen. So there was no evidence to produce. So therefore, Sergeant Lloyd Kelly walked out of court, a free man. And rightly so. But of course, Nationwide's two biggest presenters at the time, which was Cliff Hughes and Emily Crooks, decided that no, this should never have happened. At that time, Nationwide was still my favorite station for news. And I was hearing this every single morning. So what I did, I decided to write to Emily Crooks and give her a piece of my mind. Now, here is what I wrote in an email to Emily Crooks. I said, "Hi Emily, greetings. Regarding Nationwide's continued broadcast of matters to do with the Chensing case and the acquittal of the police detective, I say, enough already. Nationwide has been riding this thing like Aunt Sally on and on and on, and it is now getting setting my teeth on edge. I am a practical man, and I have one question to ask. If your car was to break down on a lonely road at night, who would you be more comfortable to have coming to your assistance? A useless degenerate with a long history of violence, a troublemaker and menace to society, and lastly, murderer? Or would you rather to have an upstanding, hard-working policeman and family man with a flawless record and several commendations for dedicated service? Which one? Bottom line is that a person who is of no value to anyone and probably a menace to everyone has died. And happy riddance, I say. If what you saw, if what we saw on camera is true, then Cheng Sing got his comeuppance. He had it coming. The only thing that the policeman did wrong was to circumvent the legal system in doing what was necessary. Nobody in the community shed any tear for Cheng Sing. In fact, I think that there was relief all round. As a lawyer, I can understand you're viewing things from a strict legal standpoint. But think about the hypothetical case of who you would prefer assisting you on a lonely road at night. This policeman should be regarded like the Pied Piper of Hamelin who rid the town of rats. Vermin is vermin regardless of the form they take. For God's sake, give over. Please, pretty please. If you want to do a real human interest story on this, go to the community that Cheng Sing used to live and see what the residents think. That might help you to make better use of Nationwide's airtime. Please forward this to Cliff Hughes too, because last week he tied up two outstanding gentlemen for a long time on air with this foolishness. Now, on the very same day, Emily Crooks wrote back, and this is what she wrote. What an absolute shame that you take that view of the life of any. With respect, we here cannot take that view of anyone, no matter how low or far down on the caste system that you have set up, he appears. There are implications for all, and media has a role and must explore it. Best regards, Emily Crooks, attorney at law. What we need to understand here, is that you see these people in the top echelons of society, they think that they have the right to dictate the morals to anyone and everyone. They have these set of utopian ideals which says that all lives are precious and humanity is for everyone, and that human rights goes for everybody, and that's just it. No compromise, no deviation, regardless of how impractical this concept works. The sort of gusto and enthusiasm that I see Emily and Cliff Hughes place on this particular incident to protect this piece of human waste, and they're trying to make him look like the hero, while the real hero languished, not knowing what is going to happen to his life, his career, his future. For 4 years, it did not concern them that this man was terrorizing several villages and the downtown area of St. Anne's Bay. Why is it that these people sit in their ivory towers, isolated from the realities of society, isolated from criminals, in their gated communities, staying up there and trying to impose their utopian ideals on ordinary citizens down here who are actually feeling the pinch? I keep mentioning the case of Denique Salmon, this little 5-year-old girl, because hers is the most poignant case that I can never forget. For me, she has become my symbol of all that is wrong with us as a society. Her case epitomizes and supports my contention that krazmites should be visited at 2 a.m. and given a final solution. Here is why. Denique Salmon was asleep in her bed, or some people say she was doing her homework in her bed. Either case, gunman a shoot after other gunman, stray shot, go through the board walls of her house and shot her dead in her bed. No, the person who shot her was a krazmite called Theodore Beavers. Now, Theodore Beavers is one of the degenerates of society. He is one of the irredeemables. He has been on 2 separate gun charges before. He has been charged for wounding with intent with firearm and illegal possession of firearm. He went to court, he get bail. He went back to court and he was arrested again and went back to court and got bail again. And go and kill this little girl in her bed while creating mayhem on the streets. Now, if this man was visited at 2 a.m. and treated the way society think he should be treated, guess what? Emily Crooks and Cliff Hughes and the others of them who live in their ivory towers would have sent their panties in a twist. They would have been on the air breathing fire about human rights and everything. But has Cliff Hughes or Emily Crooks ever shed a tear for Denise Salmon or anybody like her? No, you would never hear them several days on the air saying that this little girl deserved life. Because what? In their world, in their utopian world, all lives are equal. Even though for them up there so is privileged. Emily Crooks had the gall to say, with respect, we cannot take the view of anyone that no matter how far down on the caste system you have set up, he appears. She's saying that I have set up a caste system. Now, the caste system is the system of privilege to underprivilege, about 5 different systems that is set up in India, where a higher caste look down on a lower caste. But who is really in a caste system here? Me, who want to see menace to society, deplorables, people who are actually harming society, to be gotten rid of, or she who thinks that people who are harming societies are normal, healthy people who should be protected. And if mine is a caste system, what about yours? You who think that people like Denise Salmon should be left to the mercy and whims and passion of gunmen. Cliff Hughes, Emily Crooks, are your views any better than mine? Are your standards any better than mine? I, who is trying to protect babies, 5-year-old babies, so they can sleep in their bed without fear of being shot. Are you who think gunmen should sleep in their beds without being shot? Who has the higher moral standards here? Emily Crooks, Cliff Hughes? I have never seen either of you who are trying to protect gunmen who have ever taken on any. I would like to know which charity you support. When have you gone out and tried to find at-risk boys and have tried to nurture them or fund them or do anything to keep such people like Theodore Beavers on the straight and narrow? What charities do you represent? When was the last time you have held up a placard or gone to visit a child who has been killed by gunmen? But no. You prefer to stay in your ivory tower and think that every life is equal and not think that these babies and all people who are vulnerable deserve protection. And you think that this is an absolute shame that I take that negative view on the life of some people. But don't you take a negative view on the life of people like Denise Salmon when you don't want the people who can harm her, the people who leave her vulnerable, to be neutralized? So you see, your thinking is the one who is elitist. You are the one who have a caste system. You are the ones who survive and thrive in your individual utopia and leave us all to the mercies of the wind just to support your impractical ideals. Just felt I need to set the record straight and expose the nastiness of these people and how they think, and to let society know that we need to take a different look, have some kind of a radical shift in how we view society, how we look at things, and find a different way of solving our problems if they can't be solved with the romantically idealistic views that the elitists in our society have, which is hurting the rest of us. So guys, like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.